July 10th, 2020. Today's reading task. The giraffe, the pelly, and me. That leaves only the pelly, said the Duke. Yes, said the pelican nervously. But I'm afraid that what I eat does not grow on trees. I only eat fish. Would it be too much trouble? I wonder, if I were to ask you for a reasonably fresh piece of hand dog or cold every day? Hot dog or cold? Shouted the Duke, spitting out the words as though they made a bad taste in his mouth. Cast your eyes, my dear Patty, over there to the south. The pelican looked across the vast rolling estate, and in the distance he saw a great river. That is the river Hemp, cried the Duke, the finest salmon river in the whole of Europe. Salmon! Screeched the pelican. Not salmon! You don't really mean salmon. It's full of salmon, the Duke said, and I own it. You can help yourself. Before he had finished speaking, the pelican was in the air. The Duke and I watched him as he flew full speed toward the river. We saw him circle over the water, then he dived and disappeared. A few moments later, he was in the air again, and he had a gigantic salmon in his beak. I stood alone with the Duke on the lawn beside his great house. Well, Billy, he said, I'm glad they are all happy. But what about you, my lad? I'm wondering if you happen to have just one extra special little wish all for yourself. If you do, I'd love you to tell me about it. There was a sudden tingling in my toes. It felt as though something tremendous might be going to happen to me any moment. Yes, I murmured nervously. I do have one extra special little wish. And what might that be? Said the Duke in a kindly voice. There is an old wooden house near where I live, I said. It's called the Grubber, and long ago it used to be a sweet shop. I've wished and wished that one day somebody might come along and make it into a marvelous new sweet shop all over again. Somebody! Cried the Duke. What do you mean, somebody? You and I will do that. We'll do it together. We'll make it into the most wonderful sweet shop in the world. And you, my boy, will own it. Whenever the old Duke got excited, his enormous mustaches started to bristle and jump about. Right now, they were jumping up and down so much it looks as though he had a squirrel on his face. By God, sir, he cried, waving his stick, I shall buy the place today. Then we'll get to work and have the whole thing ready in no time. You just wait and see what sort of a sweet shop we are going to make out of this grubber place of yours. It was amazing how quickly things began to happen after that. There was no problem about buying the house because it was owned by the giraffe and the pelly and the monkey, and they insisted upon giving it to the Duke for nothing. Then builders and carpenters moved in and rebuilt the whole of the inside, so that once again it had 3 floors. On all these floors they put together rows and rows of tall shelves, and there were ladders to climb up to the highest shelves and baskets to carry what you bought. Then the sweets and chocolates and toffees and fudges and nuggets began pouring in to fill the shelves. They came by aeroplane from every country in the world, the most wild and wondrous thing you could ever imagine. There were gum swallows and fizzwinkles from China, froth blowers and spitzollers from Africa, tummy ticklers and gobwanglers from the Fiji island, and lip lickers and plush nuggets from the land of the midnight sun. For 2 whole weeks, the flood of boxes and sacks continued to arrive. I could no longer keep track of all the countries they came from, but you can bet your life that as I unpacked each new batch, I sampled it carefully. I can remember especially the giant wondoodles from Australia, everyone with a huge ripe red strawberry hidden inside its crispy chocolate crust, and the electric fiddlecocklers that made every hair on your head stand straight up on end as soon as you popped one into your mouth. And there were niche nobblers and gum gottlers and blue bubblers and the sherbet slurpers and the tongue wreckers, and as well as all this, there was a whole lot of splendid stuff from the great Wonka factory itself. For example, the famous Willy Wonka rainbow drops. Suck them, and you can spit in 7 different colors. And his stick jar for talkative parents, and his mint jujubes that will give the boy next door give green teeth for a month. On the grand opening day, I decided to allow all my customers to help themselves for free, and the place was so crowded with children you could hardly move. The television cameramans and the newspaper reporters were all there, and the old Duke himself stood outside in the road with my friends, the giraffe and the pelly and the monkey, watching the marvelous scene. I came out of the shop to join them for a few moments, and I brought each of them a bag of extra special sweets as a present. To the Duke, because the weather was a little chilly, I gave some scarlet Scotch droppers that had been sent to me from Iceland. The label said that they were guaranteed to make the person who sucked them as warm as toast, even if he were standing stark naked at the North Pole in midwinter. The moment the Duke popped one into his mouth, thick smoke came gushing out of the old boy's nostrils in such quantities that I thought his mustaches were going up in flames. Terrific! I cried, hopping about. Tremendous stuff. I'll take a case of them home with me. To the giraffe, I give a bag of glumptious globos. The globe gobbler is an especially delicious sweet that is made somewhere near Mecca, and the moment you bite into it, all the perfumed juice of Arabia go squirting down your gullet, one after the other. It's wonderful, cried the giraffe as a cascade of lovely liquid flavors poured all the way down her long throat. It's even better than my favorite pink and purple flowers. To the pelican, I give a big bag of pichlets. Pichlets, as you probably know, are bought by children who are unable to whistle a tune. As they walk along the street but long to do so, they had